As the fight against COVID-19 continues, some organizations have taken it upon themselves to educate communities about the virus. 750AMPED is a proactive intervention that leverages the power of youth to inspire changes in social behavior through training, education and awareness, while simultaneously alleviating panic, combating stigma and misinformation around COVID-19, particularly among socially vulnerable communities and areas with high transmission potential. For more on this, we are joined via Skype by Murendeni Nafele, who is the CEO of Pax Africana Holdings. We thank you so very much, sir, for joining us and giving us your time.
Thank you so much for having me today. Yes, it's always a great opportunity for us to be able to share more about our initiative, and so I'm excited for this opportunity today.
All right, let's start here. Talk to us then, please, about your initiative and what made you realize that there was this sort of huge gap of communities needing to be educated on COVID-19.
Yes, and I think the opportunity for us to be able to get involved, and what we often say is even if it means we're making the slightest of differences during this fight, we realized that indeed there was a group of people in the country who were forgotten about. People who typically resources weren't necessarily being sent their way, and that's that we call some of the most socially vulnerable. We particularly wanted to identify a campaign and an initiative that responded to those individuals in some of the communities that were the most affected by the virus. And so we identified highly dense and highly populated communities in the country, particularly communities that found it very, very difficult to practice social distancing, who found it very difficult to sort of protect themselves. So in Gauteng, in Western Cape, in KZN, in the Eastern Cape and in the Free State, those are the provinces that we identified that we've seen having the highest rate of infection. And so we looked at the townships that were most affected in those provinces. And so we're going to be looking at about 45 townships throughout those 5 provinces. And we'll then be sending out young people into those communities. And so we identified youth. The slogan that we use is utilizing the power of youth during times of crisis. We believe that it's through young people and their zest and their passion for life that they can actually make an impact into the community. And so we train them, we educate them, inform them about the virus, how it operates, how it's transmitted, sort of the preventative measures people can take. Then we send them out in the community. They go out face to face, obviously practicing social distancing. They educate the community. They speak to them in more detail about the virus.
And how have the communities that you have sort of engaged with really sort of responded to such interventions? Are you finding that there is a positive response and people actually coming to attend those sessions that you are giving?
Yes, and so in fact, it's the approach that we're taking. We bring the young people in as you can see, and on the into various locations, and we train them, and we then send them out into the community. So we send them out into everyday environment, into everyday realities. And so whether it's malls, whether it's shopping centers, taxi ranks, we are going to areas of the community where people are already in mass, and so we go out there and we have our young people introduce themselves, ask people if they have a moment to hear more about the virus, to answer any questions that people might have. We talk about sort of dispelling myths about the virus. And so our young people go out there and they're trained to sort of speak into them. And thankfully, thus far, as we've started to roll out into a couple of cities, a couple of communities rather, we've seen a positive response. I think oftentimes our people are more receptive to young people, and so they come in and they give them their time. And we're also then asking our young people to go out there and sort of have our people answer some questions, fill out some questionnaires, because we're trying to conduct some research to actually get a better understanding of the virus, get a better understanding of our people's perceptions to them. In the research that we're conducting, we're looking at knowledge, their the attitudes and perceptions towards the virus and people with the virus, and then ultimately the behavior change is where we're trying to ultimately get our people towards, towards moving towards, and so. We've thankfully thus far had a positive response from the communities.
Mr. Nafala, just in closing and very quickly, I mean, if I, for instance, identified a community that I know of that might need, the kind of service that you're offering at this time, how do people sort of approach you or get hold of you and maybe then get you into those communities? Because there are very many communities needing this sort of education on how to handle COVID-19. I mean, very many people don't have, access to whether it is broadcasting television, whether it is social media or online. How do we then get hold of you to say, listen, this is the area that's been identified as one that may potentially need your services?
Yes. So my team and I have tried to take a holistic approach towards this intervention. So we've tried to cover quite a number of bases as far as responding. And so we're utilizing face-to-face interactions with people. That's the one part. The other part that we're in the process of rolling out a website and an application that people can download. So the website is www.750amped.co.za, and there we have a list of additional information on the virus. People can email us at inquiries at 750amped.co.za. Okay. And then the other side of it is we're utilizing social media to sort of generate as much momentum as we can on this virus. So we're at 750amped for Twitter and Instagram, and then at Facebook it's 750-amped. And so those are the different avenues where you can find us. And we encourage people to go to the website because our team has put together a number of different things where we're just basically trying to get as much information on the virus. We're integrating and partnering with Health and Welfare Sector, with the NICD, with the Department of Health, sort of gathering data on a regular basis, integrating it to the website so people have live analytics and live data that they can get access to about the virus. There's pages on the website and on the app about having FAQs. So what are some of the myths across the world on this virus? What are some of the things that scientists and doctors and medical professionals are saying? So we're trying to provide as much information as we can. And we also have we give people access to different locations where they can identify testing sites in their location. We're utilizing geolocation functions on the website and on the app. We're sort of trying to provide as much support for our communities as we can during this time.
All right. Thank you so very much for giving us your time. That's Morendeni Nafala, the CEO of Pax Africana Holdings, of course, representing 750AMPED. So that's the company that's going around and really educating people on what to do during this COVID-19 pandemic. We're going to take a short break. Do stay with us.